Once upon a time, in a cheerful little town, there was a boy named Alex who was in the 3rd grade. Alex had a big heart and a curious mind, but there was one problem: he didn't like school very much. It wasn't because he didn't want to learn. In fact, Alex loved reading books about space, solving puzzles, and drawing colorful maps of imaginary lands. But every time there was a test, Alex's hands would feel sweaty, his heart would race, and he'd start worrying about making mistakes. Alex's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Carter, loved him very much. They always said things like, "You need to do your best, Alex. You can't afford to mess up." They wanted Alex to succeed, but their words made him feel even more nervous. What if he got one answer wrong? What if he didn't do everything perfectly? The thought of disappointing his parents felt too heavy to carry. One day, after another test didn't go well, Alex's teacher, Miss Harper, noticed he looked sad. "Alex, would you stay a moment after class?" she asked gently. Alex shuffled over to her desk, his head hanging low. "Is something bothering you?" Miss Harper asked. Alex hesitated, then mumbled, I don't want to get things wrong." Miss Harper smiled warmly. "Alex, mistakes are part of learning. Nobody gets everything right the first time, not even grown-ups. It's okay to try and stumble. That's how we grow." Alex's eyes widened. "Really?" Miss Harper nodded. "Absolutely. In fact, I make mistakes too. What matters is that we learn from them." Feeling a little better, Alex walked home that day, thinking about what Miss Harper had said. That evening, when his parents asked about school, Alex shared Miss Harper's words. But his parents, though well-meaning, still seemed unsure. Later that week, Miss Harper invited Mr. and Mrs. Carter to meet with her. "Alex is such a bright and creative boy," Miss Harper began. "But I think he's feeling a lot of pressure to be perfect. Sometimes, when we focus too much on results, kids get scared to try. If we can encourage him to enjoy learning without fear of mistakes, I believe he'll shine." Mr. and Mrs. Carter exchanged glances. They hadn't realized their words were causing Alex stress. "We just want him to succeed," Mr. Carter said. Miss Harper nodded. "Of course, and that's wonderful. But success doesn't mean never making mistakes. Success comes from trying, learning, and growing." Mrs. Carter asked, "How can we help him feel less afraid?" Miss Harper smiled. "Start by praising his effort, not just his results. Celebrate when he tries hard, even if the outcome isn't perfect. And remind him that mistakes are opportunities to learn." From that day on, things began to change. At home, Alex's parents started saying, "Just do your best, Alex, and remember, it's okay to make mistakes." They even shared stories about times they'd made mistakes and learned from them. Alex found it funny to hear about the time his dad accidentally spilled paint all over the floor while trying to fix the house, or when his mom burned the cookies during a holiday party. At school, Miss Harper cheered Alex on, even when he didn't get every answer right. She introduced a new activity in class, where everyone shared one mistake they made during the week and what they learned from it. It became Alex's favorite part of the week, because he saw that everyone, even his smartest friends, made mistakes too. Slowly but surely, Alex began to feel less afraid. He started raising his hand in class more often, even when he wasn't completely sure of the answer. He worked on projects with excitement and even started helping his classmates when they got stuck. By the end of the school year, Alex wasn't just doing better in his tests, he was happier, too. He had learned that mistakes weren't something to fear, they were stepping stones on the path to success. One sunny afternoon, Alex ran home waving his latest math test. "Mom! Dad! Look! I got an A," he exclaimed. Mr. and Mrs. Carter hugged him tightly. "We're so proud of you, Alex. Not just because of the grade, but because you didn't give up." Alex beamed. He knew now that success wasn't about being perfect. It was about doing his best, learning from mistakes, and enjoying the journey. And from that day forward, Alex's world felt a little brighter, all because he had let go of his worries and embraced the joy of learning.